We're joined here today by many of my Manitoba colleagues, members of Parliament, and senators who carry the interests of Manitoba with them to Ottawa. We have Minister Toews, Minister Stephen Fletcher, Gimli's own Senator Janice Johnson, plus Senators Don Plett and Joanne Booth. We have MPs Candace Hepner, Bob Sopak, Merv Tweed, Rod Bernouge, Joy Smith, Lawrence Tote, and Joyce Bateman. We're also joined by my colleague, Lisa Raitt, Canada's Minister of Labour, as well as a number of municipal officials, and including the mayors and reeves, many of the communities located around the South Basin of Lake Winnipeg. And we're lucky enough to have with us today representatives from a number of organizations that play key roles in monitoring, researching, protecting the health of Lake Winnipeg. I want to thank all of you for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us here today. Your attendance is a strong indication of the number of groups and individuals with a strong interest in Lake Winnipeg. I'd like to now welcome to the podium my colleague, the Honourable Vic Toews, to say a few words. As Manitoba's Senior Minister, Vic is responsible for bringing issues of importance with the province of Manitoba to the attention of his cabinet colleagues. My colleagues and I are always thankful that we have Vic take our concerns to cabinet on our behalf, and I know that he's very happy to be here for today's announcement. Vic?
Thank you very much, James, for all the hard work you do in this riding on behalf of the people who have sent you to Ottawa. And Prime Minister, colleagues, friends, thank you very much. I'm delighted to be able to welcome you all this morning for what promises to be a very exciting event. Manitoba's Interlake region is home to a rich cultural legacy encompassing Manitoba's Aboriginal roots and early settlers of Icelandic, Ukrainian, and Scottish descent. We are gathered here today on the eve of the annual Icelandic Festival of Manitoba, the second oldest continuous ethnic festival in North America, which has been held right here in Gimli since 1932, which Senator Johnson always reminds us of. These early settlers and the indigenous communities that preceded them chose to establish their homes and livelihoods in close proximity to one of Manitoba's greatest freshwater resources, Lake Winnipeg. Like many of you in this room, Lake Winnipeg has played a prominent role in the summer vacation plans of my family. I've many memories of learning to fish off the dock at Victoria Beach and of weekends spent swimming at Grand Beach. And it was right here in Gimli where I took sailing lessons with my children. I'm therefore thrilled to be able to welcome Prime Minister Stephen Harper to the beautiful community of Gimli, Manitoba. Prime Minister Harper is dedicated to building a stronger and more prosperous Canada. He is working hard to deliver real results for everyday Canadian families and to secure Canada's economic recovery. Under Prime Minister Harper, our Conservative government is focused on the economy, keeping taxes low, eliminating the deficit, and laying the foundation for long-term prosperity. It is that leadership and vision that has brought him to the shores of Lake Winnipeg today. Ladies and gentlemen, without further delay, please join me in warmly welcoming the Prime Minister of Canada, Mr. Stephen Harper.
Thank you very much, Vic, for that warm welcome. Thank you also to James for kicking us off today. I'm delighted to be back here in Gimli. I think I was here once before as Prime Minister. It's my second trip here. It's always a beautiful spot to visit, and I'm delighted to be here, not just with Minister Toews, but Minister Fletcher, Minister Raitt from Ontario, and I can't introduce them all. I see the entire Manitoba caucus. I think we're meeting later. I think that's the reason why. It's great to have so many friends and parliamentary colleagues here. And this, of course, is an announcement of great significance to the province of Manitoba. It's important for me, both as a Prime Minister and also as a father, to be here at this very special place, which is Lake Winnipeg, one of Canada's natural wonders, one of our planet's natural wonders. Some of you will know that the poet Emerson wrote that as human beings it is important for us to, quote, leave the world a bit better. And with willing partners, communities, provinces, even U.S. states, our government is working to do just that. For all of us have a special duty as citizens and as parents to leave the world a bit better. This is particularly true when it comes to clean water, and especially given the importance of this natural treasure, this national treasure, to the regional economy. Aujourd'hui, je suis très fier de lancer la deuxième ronde des travaux de nettoyage du lac Winnipeg. Today, we're very proud to launch the second round of work to clean up Lake Winnipeg. First, let me tell you the story. Most of the people in this room will know this. It was around 1996 that a patch of green algae was first noticed on Lake Winnipeg. This is something that happens when human activity raises phosphorus levels in a lake. It gets onto the land and into the streams. It's washed down the rivers to the lowest point, in this case, Lake Winnipeg. By 2006, this was happening on such a scale, the nutrient flow was so intense that it began to support a huge algae bloom covering massive areas of the lake. And that would be the beginning of the end of the lake as a sustainable ecosystem. Something had to be done, so we launched the first phase of the Lake Winnipeg Basin Initiative. Cette initiative a permis de payer pour des travaux de recherche visant à identifier le problème et comprendre son origine. This initiative has paid for research to figure out what the problem was and where it was coming from. We also signed an agreement with the province of Manitoba. Under this accord, we're working together to improve the water quality of Lake Winnipeg. Earlier today, I had a look at the MV Nemeo. I'll have a bit more time there later, which is a vessel operated by the Lake Winnipeg Research Consortium. As many of you know, it was scientists on this ship who have led the research effort by collecting samples of the lake's water to measure its physical, chemical, and biological properties. These are people highly committed, passionately committed to their work, and they all deserve our hearty applause. What our scientists learned is that at least half of the nutrients that we're trying to stop come from outside Manitoba. This is a big watershed, so there are governments in 4 Canadian provinces and 4 US states from which we had to seek help to tackle the problem. Cependant, je suis ravi de souligner qu'ils nous donnent un coup de main. Ensemble, nous avons franchi les premières étapes qui mèneront à une réduction du niveau de nutriments dont se nourrissent les algues. I'm pleased to say that by getting everyone together, we are achieving results. Since we first announced the Lake Winnipeg Basin Initiative, we've built new fencing and installed alternative livestock watering systems. We've stabilized some 40 kilometers of stream banks. We've diverted annually almost 6,500 kilograms of phosphorus, and we've restored countless wetlands. Partners like the Meewasin Valley Authority in Saskatchewan have done valuable work to restore natural vegetation on damaged shorelands. Here, Ducks Unlimited is doing the same and has set up a network to monitor water quality. These are just a few examples of the many stewardship projects, some simple, some complex, in the lake's catchment area. But small or large, they all have this in common. Almost all involved organizations and communities coming together as one, pooling their resources with those of our government to achieve the results we all want. In fact, for every dollar contributed by our government, our partners have invested over 2 of their own. Voilà comment, quand les gens s'unissent pour le bien-être commun, cela commence à faire toute la différence pour la lac Winnipeg. That is how we are starting to make a difference here for Lake Winnipeg. So the basic research is now in place. We're seeing positive results, but more needs to be done. The second phase that I'm announcing today continues our commitment to turn science into action and to undertake more of the remedial projects I've just described. À cette fin, notre plan d'action économique 2012 prévoit un soutien renouvelé et considérable réparti sur 5 ans pour l'initiative du bassin de lac Winnipeg. Des fonds seront disponibles dans les secteurs qui en ont le plus besoin. Toute mesure qui améliorera la qualité de lac Winnipeg ainsi que la vie et la carrière qui en dépendent sera une priorité. Our government's Economic Action Plan commits renewed and substantial support over 5 years for the Lake Winnipeg Basin Initiative. Under its stewardship program, there will be money available in the areas that need it most. Actions that will improve the quality of Lake Winnipeg and the life and livelihood she supports will be a priority. I don't need to remind anyone here how important this lake is environmentally and economically. Tourism is a $100 million plus annual industry. As a result of today's announcement, this vital industry will see benefits that include reduced beach closures and improved water quality for all recreational activities. Lake Winnipeg also supports a vital commercial fishery, a fishery worth some $50 million each year. Indeed, in total dollar value, this lake's fishery represents about 1/4 of all of Canada's freshwater fisheries. So, ladies and gentlemen, mesdames et messieurs, nous avons des objectifs ambitieux pour le lac Winnipeg et avec raison. We have ambitious goals for Lake Winnipeg, and so we should. This body of water, the 10th largest freshwater lake in the world, is a remarkable piece of Canadian heritage. For thousands of years, peoples of various cultures have thrived because of this lake. Vic made some note of this. First Nations, fur traders, and of course, the farmers and settlers who began to arrive exactly 200 years ago this year under the patronage of Lord Selkirk and laid the basis for the great province of Manitoba that we know today. The lake has given much, we in turn must give back, and we have a great deal of work still to do on this project. But I'm confident that we will do it and do it well. A lot of people from a lot of communities, scientists, local government officials, First Nations have worked very hard to get us to this point. We're starting to make a difference on both sides of the border. There's been a lot of goodwill that's drawn people together. So in closing, ladies and gentlemen, let me just say this. We are leaving our bit of the world a better place. And I want to thank everyone here, because I know there's all kinds of people in this room who have been intimately involved in this project. I want to thank each one of you for what you do. Merci.
Thank you, Prime Minister, for that great announcement, for your continued commitment to the health of our beautiful Lake Winnipeg. I'd now like to welcome our next speaker, Colleen Sklar, to the podium. Colleen is the Executive Director of the Lake Friendly Initiative. Now, Lake Friendly is an organization that was established in 2009 by the Lake Winnipeg South Basin Mayors and Reeves in cooperation with Manitoba Water Stewardship, and they've benefited from funding from the Lake Winnipeg Stewardship Fund under the Lake Winnipeg Basin Initiative. The organization is dedicated to protecting our waterways and raising awareness about the threats to one of our greatest resources, fresh water. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Colleen Sklar.
Thank you, James, and thank you, Mr. Prime Minister and distinguished guests. It is truly an honor to be here with you today for this exciting announcement, and thank you for coming to the shores of our great lake, Lake Winnipeg. I, as most Manitobans, feel a profound connection to our lakes and recognize that we share a special relationship with water. So today is a great day. It's a great day when Lake Winnipeg can take center stage. I've been fortunate to be part of the South Basin Mayors and Reeves Lake Friendly Initiative supported by the Government of Canada, the Province of Manitoba, and the Royal Bank Blue Water Project. And I've had an opportunity to travel throughout the province of Manitoba, talking to diverse stakeholder groups about our lake and about learning what's being done and what needs to be done to help clean it up and protect it. I met with scientists, engineers, and environmental groups who have helped us understand the problem and have come up with dynamic and innovative solutions that can clean our lake while leading us into new bioeconomic opportunities and sustainable economic growth. Solutions that can position Manitoba as a leader in the clean technology sector. I've spoken with farmers and producer groups who are committed to managing nutrients through the adoption of new and innovative practices that protect our water as their livelihoods depend on it. They depend on fresh, clean water. I've talked to fishers who see the issue firsthand every day and echo the concerns of the Southern Grand Chief, Chief Morris Swan Sanakapo, when he reminds us that we're leaving a legacy for our children and our grandchildren. And I've met with industry leaders, business owners, Manitoba Chambers of Commerce, who are committed to undertake new ways to protect water in production, in manufacturing, in construction, and throughout their daily operations. I've spent time with school children and their teachers who tell me that they're excited and they're hopeful, and that this is a learning for the future, and if we get this done right, there's no turning back. Through the leadership of the mayors and reeves of the South Basin and their vision for lake-friendly Manitoba, we are working with all levels of government to adopt new ways to manage our communities, from tendering of contracts to our day-to-day operations in our public works. I've also met with countless individuals who understand the issue and are looking for ways to participate. I believe that it's this type of engagement, the engagement of every single person in our vast watershed, that will tip the scale in our favor, and we will begin to see the change we've envisioned as Manitobans. Together, I believe we're up for the challenge, a solution-focused, Manitoba-first approach that engages all stakeholders in ways that allows everybody to do what matters. As Manitobans and as Canadians, our lakes are part of who we are. We are the stewards of an incredible natural resource, a resource that is the envy of the world. So we must be up for the challenge. We must work as partners to bring about the success that is necessary for our next generation. Mr. Prime Minister, I would like to assure you that what I've learned over the past few years is that Manitobans are serious about protecting our waters. We are engaged, we are passionate, we are optimistic, and we have the momentum and the knowledge, and we have the feet on the ground to get this done. Thank you for your participation today. Thank you for your partnership and your show of support. It means much to us to have Canada rally around our great lake, Lake Winnipeg. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Colleen, and thank you for your passion and your hard work and what you've done in raising awareness about the importance of having to protect Lake Winnipeg by making sure that what we put down our drains and what we do in our municipalities and what we do in our businesses is all about protecting the long-term health of our Lake Winnipeg watershed. So thank you for all your dedication. Well, that concludes the formal part of the program. I'm now going to invite the Prime Minister back up to the podium so that he can take questions from the media. Prime Minister Harper.
Mr. Prime Minister.
We'll begin with...
Just before I begin, in all of this unfolding of this event, we forgot to acknowledge the presence of the former Premier of Manitoba, Gary Filmon, here today. It's nice to have you.